If it's your first time catching one of my live broadcasts, I'm so glad that you're here. Tonight, we're going to have a friendly debate on this statement: nature will never fail you. And I am arguing that that's a false statement. And so tonight we're going to have a friendly debate with my fellow trailblazing friends who believe that nature is one that you don't just study it, you can love it and trust it because it will never fail you. So I have some trailblazing friends that believe that nature will never fail you. And my side of the argument is it will. And so we're going to have a friendly debate, just waiting for some friends to come on in here. Let me share it with some folks. One moment. Hopefully the signal is strong enough and will hold, because this is going to be a very interesting conversation. Hopefully we get some friends to come in so we can have this friendly debate. Be so much fun. So in the event that I don't get anyone to come on in the next 5 minutes, then I will share my thoughts and post it to Instagram, my Instagram feed, and I also post it to my YouTube. And when you come across it, and if you disagree, share your thoughts and share why. Um, argue your point of view. And if you agree, you can share that too. That would be awesome. Okay. All right, so I'm putting up a 2-minute timer. I'm waiting for, hello, Sydney. Perfect, perfect. All right, so we need to get some more folks coming up in here. Would love to invite up any trailblazing friend who opposes the statement that nature will fail. If you believe that, hey, you can always trust in nature, it will never fail you, would love to have this conversation with you. I will be arguing from the side of that nature will indeed 100% fail you. So I would love to have this conversation. And this would be so much fun if you guys would jump up, join me. But I know it's Friday, so everyone has their different activities set for today. So let's see, how much more time do we have? I got 1 more minute countdown. And then if I don't have anyone else join, like a nice audience to join, then I will, hey, what's going on? Meet you, what's happening? So just trying to share it out, trying to get as many trailblazing friends in here so we can have this friendly debate. It's going to be so much fun. I am aware that the signal may not be as strong, which is a bit annoying. But we're going to do the best that we can. So if that's the issue, you're finding it hard to get on, you can't see or hear me, you keep exiting because you're trying to see and hear, I get it, and I'm sorry. Can't do anything about that right now. But what I will do in the next 15 seconds, I'm going to share my point of view on this statement, on this belief, and then I'm going to post this video to my Instagram feed, to the YouTube channel, and you can debate me in the comments. I would love that. That would be so great. All right. So again, let me go ahead and jump into my intro. I know that was a long ways to get in. I was hoping we can get right into the ground rules for the debate, but I don't have anyone join me right now. So if it's your first time watching, if you are one of my regular trailblazing friends, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. My name is Tabitha Christopher of TabithaChristopher.com. My company founded the Mind Style Makeover Bootcamp, also known as MSMBC. It is a character and resilience building training program that provides students in college, high school, and middle school with a roadmap to succeed academically, athletically, socially, and emotionally. Tonight, we're going to be talking about this statement that was shared by, one moment, let me pull his name up. This, I may not be able to pull his name up because I am now live on Instagram. And when I went to my Instagram page, I think now when I click, yep, yeah. So some philosopher dude, he might be a philosopher or a business guy. He stated, to study nature, to love nature, and then there was one third statement that he made, and then he closed it all up with nature will never fail you. And tonight I'm going to share with you why that statement is completely false. All right. So in order for anything to be true, it has to be consistently true. Consistently true. In the event of, like, some may say, it's true that women should, be able to give birth to children, but not all women are able to do so because of whatever complications they may be having. Biologically, their bodies are made to reproduce. I mean, to have children. So that's a consistency. That's what we know. That's to happen. We know when the tide goes out, it comes back in. We know when the sun rises and it sets. We know when things go up, it eventually has to come back down. So there's a constant, right? So whenever anyone makes a statement, it is best to measure it up against if this is consistently true. And because this statement is far from consistently true, it will fall into the category of being 100% false. And here is why that is. Nature. First, we have to agree upon what nature is before we get into this discussion. All right, so all I'm going to do is just put in a Google search definition of nature. And what comes up from the Oxford Languages, it states here that nature, the phenomena of the physical world collectively, including plants, animals, the landscape, and other features and products of the earth. And that doesn't include humans, So, yeah. Boom. There it is. The phenomena of the physical world collectively, including plants, animals, the landscape, and other features and products of the earth, and so forth. All right, so the natural world, the living world, and then, as society would like to categorize it, Mother Nature, creation, and so forth. Again, but that doesn't include humans. It's like everything else, right? Well, that's what nature is. My question to you is, why would you put your trust in something that, one, wasn't able to create itself, two, is not able to be predicted or measured for any form of consistency? So let's just take nature in all of its glory as it pertains to how we even speak of the wind in normal conversation. Whenever we describe our own emotional levels, we would say we don't want to trust our feelings because they change and they come and go and change as quickly as the wind. The wind comes and goes as it please. No one can tell when it comes, where it's coming from, nor where it's going. Does that sound like something that you want to put your trust in, that you wanted to be dependent upon, something that you don't know when it's coming, where it's going to, or when it's coming back again? That sounds like something that you can't really build your life, build trust off of. You can't measure any consistency there. You can't even hold it. You can't even contain it. There's no measuring of consistency with even the wind. Putting your nature, the statement of nature will never fail you. What about the farmer? Tell that to the farmer. Farmers who just recently experienced incredible droughts in 2022 and 2023 to the sound of over $14 billion in loss of payments. So what happened with that? Farmers who went through harsh winters, no water coming down. So that meant no crops, no food for their family, nor food to sell to market. So that meant what? Financial hardship, mental and physical strain, right? But the farmers go out every season, every year in hope, hear me very carefully, in hope that nature will cooperate with their hard efforts. So the farmers are consistent in going out to scout for the best ground, to make sure they have healthy seed, that they have a healthy seed to deposit into the earth. They do their due diligence. They do their part in hope. I'm going to say it again, in hope that nature will cooperate with their efforts. And as we know, you haven't had to live too long to know this, that there are seasons of drought and there are seasons of plenty. No one knows when it is going to come or when it's going to hit. Sometimes they may have a whole couple of few years of good weather cooperation, good cooperation from nature. And then there's going to be years where it's not cooperating. But they continue to consistently go out with their hard effort in hope that they will get a good result. Okay. Another thing, hurricanes. Has anyone ever experienced a tsunami, an earthquake, tropical storm, tornado, any kind of natural disaster? That's part of nature. Nature will never fail you. Well, let's see. Hurricanes, when they come about, they encompass all of the worst types of natural disasters in existence. Hurricanes. So when that statement is made, nature will never fail you. Tell that to people who have escaped through the skin of their teeth from nature showing up in that violent way through a hurricane, combining all of the worst types of natural disasters you can have in one major natural disaster, right? So when hurricanes come, they clear everything that's in their path. They are able to destroy entire countries and snuff away lives in the process as well. Just literally less than 24 hours ago, Japan experienced a 7.1 magnitude earthquake, which then caused for there's a prime minister that was traveling, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida had to cancel his plans to visit Central Asia for summits after weather officials flagged risk of major Pacific Coast earthquake. What about something even more simple that's not so intense? You're planning out a day at the beach, and the weather forecast predicts perfect weather. And then all of a sudden, the sky goes dark and starts to rumble. And then lightning flashes through, piercing through the clouds and hits the ground. Looks like one's plans got disrupted. So this whole thing of nature will never fail you. It's the same thing when there was this family that went out on a safari vacation. I don't remember which country in Africa they went to, and this was an old video. You probably can find it on YouTube, where this family went out, and one of the dads decided that he wasn't going to miss the opportunity of getting up close and personal to a tribe of lions feasting on their meal. And so he went in opposition of what was recommended of experts, which those guys didn't even go out. Those guides did not even go out, they didn't venture out to where this family was going to. But they specifically told them, if you're not going with guns, if you're not going any form of protection, you know, for one, you're taking a high risk, and two, don't put anything outside the cars. Keep all limbs inside the cars. Do not ever get out of the car. Well, again, this one dad decided that he was not going to listen, and it seems like he was going with this statement of putting his trust in nature. That because he didn't feel like he was a threat to the lions, that the lions would somehow feel the vibe and just completely ignore his presence. And yeah, it didn't turn out well at all. So he ended up being eaten alive, and it was caught on camera. They may have taken it off of YouTube by now, but the animals are a part of nature. So at the end of the day, where it comes down to of where we exist and live today, we are in a fallen world. We're in a fallen world. So creation, at no point should we, the created, put our faith in something that's also created. Just like in our relationships with fellow human beings, we find inconsistencies. Like we want to be able to put our full trust in another person, whether it be a parent, whether it be a teacher, whether it be a coach, whether it be whomever. We have individuals in our life that we're like, we should be able to depend on these person to hold our interest at the highest level. We should be able to go to this person, always get filled up. Hello. Oh my goodness. I know who this is. This is my good friend from Glendale. So we end up putting so much of our emphasis of trust in areas of life that hold no consistency. And we put pressure on our relationships. We put pressure on things to provide to us the peace of mind that we so desperately desire to have and experience. And what we end up finding when we do so is great disappointment. Great disappointment. Because we were not created to put our trust in others. We weren't created to elevate others to a place of status where that's my bro. Hello, Timothy. To where we're elevating others into what's going on, Daphne? What's going on, Lorenzo? Where we're idolizing people in our life or even things in our life, and we're saying, okay, well, you know what? This thing has been even our pets. We've gotten to the point of where we've become so desensitized to like, well, if I can't see it, feel it, touch it, and experience it right now, then it can't be real to me. It's not real enough to me. Trailblazer, and that statement in itself isn't even consistent with how we live. We get up every single day. We plan our day out the night before. We plan our day out the week before. We state all of these things of what's going to happen. These are things that we're going to do. These are the events that we're going to take part in. This is what I'm expecting to take place. And it hasn't even happened yet. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. You can't confirm that it's going to happen. You can't even confirm if you're going to be alive to even follow through to make it happen. But then we live in faith that it will. Every single day we're proving of how God created us to be, to live by faith, to trust him in everything, every area of our life. Nature, inconsistent. It will fail you, as it's continuously proving every single day, especially for those that work in agriculture. They know it. They know it better than anyone because they have to deal with it all the time. The inconsistencies of it, right? Those that just experienced that earthquake over in Japan, they're getting hit hard over there. Those that's in the Caribbean that's experiencing all of these hurricanes in the south tip of Florida with the hurricanes that are coming through. We experience these natural disasters all the time. And yet it's so much easier for us to say, well, you know what? I want to put my trust in, so I can put myself in something that's trust in something that's inconsistent because I can see, I can feel it, I can depend on it. Trailblazer, let me let you know right now, at the end of that stick of us elevating our relationships, elevating things, whether it's our career, whether it's an animal, whatever that thing is, social media, whatever it is that we're elevating to a status of, this is what I'm hoping is going to provide me with some kind of peace, with some kind of consistency of where I can depend on it. Trailblazer, at some point you're going to reach that end of the stake of disappointment when you're like, whoa, this isn't filling me. So then what happens then? We go looking for something else and we keep looking for other things and we keep trying to find that fill. And it's exhausting. I can speak from experience. It's very exhausting because guess what? You will never find it. The only place that we're going to find it is the very thing that we may find so easy to avoid and say, you know what? The whole God thing, I'm not a religious person. Good for you. Because religion is something that's man-made anyways, right? But for us to be able to connect to the one who made us, the creator, who knows us, who loves us, and it's been consistent since the beginning of our existence, and he was existing before our existence, I think we would want to put our trust in such a powerful being who thinks so highly of us, We are magnificently, awesomely, wonderfully, oh my gosh, powerfully made in the image of this creator. And he loves us. We can trust him. And then our other argument can come in. Well, I don't trust in anything I can't see. And then of course we've heard the rebuttal to that. Well, you can't see air. You can't see air. You can't see the wind. You can't see gravity. Like in itself. There's so many things that we can't see. We can't even see the functionality of the DNA strands that make up who we are, our cells, our organs. There's many things that we can't see on an everyday basis, but yet we show up. We show up in believing that all of these things that we cannot see, what's going on, Marcel? All these things that we cannot see, we put our trust in. But then yet in the one who made us, the one who knows us, the one who fashioned us, the one who put purpose in us, the one who loves us, we find it so quick to want to go with culture and say, well, you know what? The God thing is just not for me. It's a really touchy topic. Trailblazer, I want to encourage you. If that's how you feel about it, I want to encourage you to know that God doesn't feel that way about you. And on the side of where I stand on and I argue on is based off of observation and historical and scientific data that confirms nature will fail mankind. And it has been doing so since the fall of mankind, right? It's been consistent in that. And I want to encourage you to ask yourself, who has been consistent in my life? Who can I consistently look to and depend on? Because at some point or another, the people that's closest to us, that we absolutely love, right? That we love and respect and honor. At some point, just as we know, there's a time to be born and there's a time to die. We're not going to be on this earth forever, right? And we don't know when these individuals that we put so much of our trust in, we don't know when they're going to leave this earth, right? And we don't want to be in a state of where we're so dependent upon people, our relationships, to make us through and make us feel better about ourselves. We want to be able to find ourselves rooted and grounded in one that has consistently been there for us before we got here to this earth and will never leave us nor forsake us. And that's your Heavenly Father. the one who created you and made you in his image of power, love, and a sound mind. I want to encourage you to lean into what is consistent, to who has been consistently loved. You can trust him. He will never, ever fail you. Trailblazer, I trust that you that this conversation, this talk in some way helped to encourage you. It helped to provide a different framing of thought. Lorenzo, thank you. So good. Praise God. A different framing of thought. And so that way, you know, you can think about these things, these statements that pop up on social media, that they read well, they sound well when you're saying it internally. And I even have to admit to myself, when that statement, that phrase that I shared to my story, when I first read it, my first response was, "Oh yeah, that's good." Until I read it out loud to myself, and I was like, "Wait a minute. That does not make sense. That statement is inherently false, because nature is not something that's consistent." So so to say that nature will never fail is a false statement, because it is not consistent. And that's something that you and I, we yearn. We yearn consistency. Life, in order for us to thrive, we need some kind of consistency in our life. And you and I both know life's journey tends to be far from consistent. Oftentimes, we can have life storms coming. Some of us may be in a storm right now. Some of us are coming out of a storm, and others of us are getting ready to go into another storm. Life has its ebbs and flows, its ins and outs, its twists and turns, but we have an opportunity to have a consistent, a constant in our life. And it's the one who made you, who knows you, who loves you, who put purpose in you. And he formed you before, he knew you before the foundations of the earth were formed. You were created for purpose. You were created with purpose. You were created on purpose. So any thoughts that come from the past or present challenges that you're facing that want to cause you to doubt that your life has any value, has any worth, I want to encourage you right now to know that's a lie from the pits of hell, and you can send it right back to where it came from. Hello, boop. Okay? And you lean into the truth. I encourage you to consider inviting the constant, the consistent one, your Heavenly Father, to be a part of your journey, so that peace that you desire, that peace of mind, that power, love, will abide in you and with you, regardless of the inconsistencies that life throws your way. I hope that conversation encouraged you in some way, shape, or form. If you are on one side of the argument, if you agree, disagree, please feel free to debate me in the comments below. That would be so much fun. And as we continue to engage in these thoughts to help to stir us and propel us forward to being the greatness that we were created to be in every way. God bless. Enjoy your Friday. Talk soon.